This is the concierge, sir.
And hello, everybody, and welcome back to Concierge Confidential. I'm your host, Brian Ortega, and today we are wrapping up 2024 with some of my favorite things that I did this year and some of my favorites in Las Vegas. Everything from restaurants to cocktail bars to lounges and everything in between. So this is actually going to be our last episode of the year. So I won't be doing a New Year's pod just because I've actually done, I think, 2 or 3 of those now. So if you'd like, just go in sort of my channel and go ahead and search New Year's. It'll give you the lowdown on how to get around on New Year's Eve in Las Vegas and a couple little tips and tricks of maneuvering a very, very busy night in Las Vegas. But this will be kind of our end of year list for those of you that celebrate Christmas, Merry Christmas, and hopefully you guys have a fantastic time with your families. And anybody who celebrates Hanukkah, hope you had 8 crazy nights. So this is sort of our year in the wrap of Concierge Confidential. Okay, right, so welcome back. So we're going to be wrapping up our year here. I do just want to say thank you so much for listening to Concierge Confidential this year. This year had a lot of changes for me. My other job, I took on a lot more responsibilities, which is why it was, especially at the end of the year, a little bit harder to come on every single week. But I'm thinking of doing something a little bit different next year, probably having more guests on and also getting different insights from people in the city. It's definitely something I've really wanted to do much more frequently. But before it was a little bit harder, but now hopefully it's freed up a little bit more time since my other job has a couple more responsibilities, but also is at a different time now. So that really helps. Also, I know that I kind of like slacked in the social media realm this year. It just does get kind of hard to try to like sort of pump out a lot of content when you have like a real job and there's so many other like content creators in Las Vegas pumping out content that it is a little discouraging sometimes, I have to say, but it's just comes part of the gig. And I think now that I'm sort of thinking about doing it more as, more for fun to do the social, that is definitely something that I'd like to do a little bit more of. So definitely sorry for slacking on the video aspects of this, but hopefully next year we'll be able to do a little bit more in the social realm on Instagram and maybe TikTok, because we don't know how TikTok's working right now. So anyways, let's go ahead and jump into the list. So let's start with the number one. Everybody always wants to know what is your best or your favorite restaurant in Las Vegas, or any place really. And mine, to no one's surprise, maybe it's a little bit of surprise, was Mother Wolf at the Fontainebleau. Mother Wolf really just became one of my favorite restaurants just because I was really able to sort of explore the menu quite a bit. I was able to find things that I really enjoyed on the menu. There are some things on the menu that I would probably skip, but other than that, the restaurant itself just has a really, really great vibe to it. It's really, very classy. And I also just think the food is very top tier. None of it ever tastes like it's not handmade. So Mother Wolf also in terms of pricing is probably like mid to expensive range, depending on, how much you're getting, how many dishes of pasta you're getting. Are you getting pizza? Are you getting wine? But overall, Mother Wolf is definitely my favorite restaurant in town and would highly recommend it to anybody who comes into town that wants sort of like a Vegas feel, but new Vegas. This is definitely, Mother Wolf is not your Italian restaurant from like the 1980s. It's definitely a modern Italian restaurant, but with very old school classic dishes that can be a little bit sort of rustic for some people who aren't used to it. But if you just give it a chance, you'll find something that you like on the menu and you'll fall in love with it. So I've been to Mother Wolf countless a number of times. The Chicho Pepe is one of the best dishes on the menu. They also have fantastic pizza. I love their focaccia bread. It's just so, so good. And then they also have their rigatoni alla vaccarera. It's their meat sauce, which is so, so delicious. So I love Mother Wolf. Highly recommend it. It is my favorite restaurant of 2024. So as we kind of move along, Let's go with my favorite hangout because this is a little bit different than the restaurant. Just because it's funny because it is a restaurant, but it's definitely much more of a vibe. So one of the best vibe spots in town to me is hands down Delilah's at the Wynn. This probably won't change for many years, but I do love Delilah's at the Wynn Las Vegas. It has just a really cool sort of aura about it where people feel very, it does feel very put offish if you've never been inside. But once you get comfortable with it, you become comfortable with the space. It really becomes one of the places you have to go to if you want to do the high-end thing in Las Vegas. So I do love Delilah's. I recommend that you go there just for drinks. The food is good. It's serviceable. It's quite tasty. I've actually been to the Delilah's in Los Angeles, and I thought that their food was just way better just because I like the options. They had ribs. They had a beautiful steak on the menu. Overall, it was just an out-of-this-world experience when I went to the food aspect of Delilah's in Los Angeles. But in terms of the actual space itself, hands down, Delilah's is in Las Vegas is the better of all of those. So definitely my favorite. Love Delilah's. Highly recommend. I would recommend go to the Bubble Bar on top. You can talk to any of the bartenders. Oh my goodness. Jess is really fantastic. And then, oh my goodness, I'm blanking on his name, but the bartenders are just really, really awesome. So, what's his name? Ryan? Derek? It was a hot guy name. I kind of forgot what the name was. So anyways, that was Delilah's. So moving on to, let's go downtown. I do have one more thing that I have on the strip that I wanted to talk about, but let's go to downtown. So my favorite downtown hangout, which also would go as one of my favorite downtown bars, is Vegas Vicky. I do love Vegas Vicky's over at the Circa Hotel and Casino. It's the newest hotel on Fremont Street, and this is the thing when it comes to Fremont. Like, the cleaner you are, the best vibes, newer you are, it does go a long way for me. Some people like the nostalgic factor of Fremont Street, but honestly, I've lived in Las Vegas for 11 years. I've seen all the nostalgia stuff. It's, it's cool. It's fun to do like once, but it's not fun to do every time. But, what is fun to do every time is consistency, and that's why I really enjoy Vegas Vicky's at Circa. The bartenders are fantastic. They make craft cocktails the way that I like them made, and they're really top notch. I love that they have a revolving menu that has a bunch of different themed cocktails on them. So they have movie themed cocktails for different parts of the year. But overall, I think Vegas Vicky's is top notch. Some might say that the Legacy Club upstairs on the top of the Circa Hotel is the best. I think it's fine. I think it's honestly just it's kind of a little boring to me. Don't really get to see people watch, but when you're at Vegas Vicky's, you get to see every different aspect of the casino walking by. So definitely would recommend Vegas Vicky's, especially if you want to go downtown for a good cocktail. I think they make the best cocktails in downtown, other than maybe like Barry's or Plaza. But to me, Vegas Vicky's is where it's at. So moving into favorite downtown restaurant, since we're on the topic, 80s is fantastic, guys. 80s is a really fantastic spot. Highly recommend it to anybody who wants to do sort of like an Asian fusion type of cuisine. It's very, very affordable, very, very approachable. It's very much tapas style. They do have a steak on the menu, which is really good. It's off menu, though. You have to ask for it. But their brisket fried rice is out of this world. Love their brisket fried rice. I think it's so delicious. They're open at crazy times of the day up until, I believe, 11 o'clock on the weekends, and then I think open until 10 o'clock during the week. But I do really, really enjoy the 80s experience. Really, really enjoy it. So highly recommend 80s at the Circa. So another one that's sort of like a local thing. I do love Baby Stacks, but it did not make my list of favorites because I ended up going to a place called Ethel M's? Not Ethel M Chocolate Factory. Oh my goodness, guys, I feel so stupid. Ethel. I'm looking it up now. Ethel Restaurant? Winnie and Ethel's. There we go. I knew there was an Ethel in there, but Winnie and Ethel's, which is on, I believe, Charleston or Sahara, Charleston Boulevard. is so delicious. It's a local spot, but really, really, cute on the inside. They have all these different sort of coffee cups that are sort of like part of the aesthetic, and the food is so good. I was so nervous when I got the maple syrup because I was like, and the cool thing is they make the waffles. Oh my goodness, I'm just thinking about it now. They make the waffles sort of like Waffle House waffles, which you don't get. You get a lot of Belgian waffles everywhere, and the maple syrup doesn't look like typical maple syrup. But when it comes out, it just is so sweet and delicious and just really nice. It just really reminds me of Tucson, where I'm from, where you have like these really great sort of local spots that have been there for years and years and years. But it's great. So Winnie and Ethel's on Charleston probably wins my favorite local spot in Las Vegas. So I really, really enjoyed their spot. Really, really liked it. So, my favorite show. So, the favorite show that I saw in Las Vegas, there's a lot of options here. So, I did see, I believe, Adele at the beginning of the year. I believe it was the beginning of the year. I don't know if it was last year. Oh, man, I have to think about that now. Pretty sure it was early this year, like around March. Yeah, I think it was. So, my favorite show that I saw this year was Adele. I saw it with my mom at Caesar's Palace. It was, not part of her last shows. It was part of her extended run. And she was fantastic. It really felt like a Vegas-style show where it does sort of go to the next level. It is very different than a concert, obviously. It's really a just sort of demonstration of what a great vocalist is. And I loved Adele. So I had a great time. I also took my mom to dinner that night. I forget where we went. Oh, yeah, we went to Stanton Social, which was really, really fun. The food was fine. Stanton Social is okay. But it's fun if you're like a young group and you're just trying to have like a good time and sort of like that is the event. But doing that and then going to see Adele, the concert was like 3 hours long, which when you're there to listen to somebody sing, that's an okay thing. They also were filming something like a special at that particular show, which was really cool. It was also kind of nice because I watched a lot of videos of her final performances, and a lot of her final performances when she would do the When We Were Young song, she would see people in the crowd that she knew, or she would stop and talk to people and have these really emotional stories. Didn't have any of that at my concerts or that concert, so didn't have to deal with her stopping the song because it's like one of my favorite songs. So I was really happy that she was able to just do the whole song and not have any crazy stoppages during the song. So I think she's really funny. I think she's definitely worth it. If she comes back to Vegas, I think Adele is certainly something to come check out. And again, make sure you get your tickets way, way in advance before you see Adele. Just a couple other things to note. I did go see Ed Sheeran was last year. Yeah, Ed Sheeran was last year. Can't use Ed Sheeran, guys. Can't do it. Was it last year? Yeah, man, goodness. These years are sort of folding together. Nope, that was definitely last year because I was doing a totally different show for my other job. So can't say Ed Sheeran. I did see the Eagles though. So I saw the Eagles at the Sphere with my parents as well, and had a great time. Loved seeing the Eagles at the Sphere. I love the Eagles. Some people may not like the Eagles as much as I like the Eagles, but full concert. The place was awesome. Highly recommend to go see the Sphere. I would say there's not a bad seat in the house, to be honest. I recommend we were in I think the 200 or 300 section. That is a really good section to be in to sort of be able to see the guys and then also see the entire breadth of the Sphere itself. I think if you're in the 200 section is a little bit better because you can see the guys a little bit more clear. I don't need to see those guys, at least visually. I do love hearing them. But the Sphere itself is just a really great experience. A couple of things that I did this year that kind of stick out to me as I'm sort of talking about them. The 4 Sixes Steakhouse experience, the Taylor Sheridan Steakhouse experience, wasn't my favorite. It was one of those things that were everyone was looking forward to it, and then we went, and then we had it, and we were like, oh, it was fine. This is okay. Like, it didn't blow my socks off, and it's quite expensive. And you don't hear me say that, often, because I understand how expensive things are in Las Vegas. But I was like, oh, that was kind of expensive for being like not great. So you make your best out of it. To be honest, you kind of go on with the evening, and then you sort of reevaluate once the evening is done. So the place is fine. Another thing that I really enjoyed, I really liked the chef truck at the Park MGM, which was open last year, I believe, but I just really wanted to point out that I just loved it. It's so good. Highly recommend it if you ever come to Las Vegas and want a really awesome Cubano. They make a medianoche, which is basically a Cubano with different type of bread, but it's really tasty. So highly recommend that if you do come out. One of my favorite things that I did this year was also going to the Neon Museum. The Neon Museum, which I had never been to before. I finally gone. My mom was visiting and she wanted to see it, so we're able to go. You can check out the content on conciergeconfidential_LV on Instagram. And it was really fun seeing all the old neon signs and really experiencing what you would have thought or saw when you came to Vegas in the 60s, which I love. That's probably my favorite era of Las Vegas, is sort of that 60s Rat Pack era. I think that's really my favorite era in terms of American history in general. Really that special time in between, really, it's sort of like a 15, 20-year period between the end of World War II, which was 1945, up until Kennedy's death, which is probably 1962, 63. I always get messed up on the year. I believe it's 63, excuse me. So I think that was a great time in American history, and a really great time for, at least visually and aesthetically wise, Las Vegas. The mob was here, but they only messed with each other. So that was probably one of my more favorites. So I kind of just went listing some of the things that I really enjoyed. I forgot to mention some of the places that I really liked on my list that I wrote one down. So my favorite cocktail bar in Las Vegas easily is the Collins Bar at Fontainebleau. Everybody knows that I've kind of become sort of a stan for Fontainebleau and a lot of its offerings and its shortcomings and the things that it does great. But I think the Collins Bar is really one of the best bars in Las Vegas. They make any cocktail you need. They're super friendly. It's never super packed, and when it is, I get so excited because I'm just happy that they're doing well. And I love their piano players. They're always really good. And their cocktails, if you don't like one, they really want to know and understand why you didn't like it, and then make you something that you're going to like. And I think it's an art to do that, and they do it with such great service. I think the Collins Bar is top tier. And really, from a moment where I thought I wasn't gonna like that bar, I was like, this bar's not gonna survive. When I walked in at the hotel the first time, that's what I said. I was like, this bar will not survive. It's away from the action. It can't survive. And now look at me. I'm a regular there. I love the Collins Bar. I'd recommend you guys go there. Try the Havana Republic or the whatever Republic. It's a really good drink. But I get old fashions. I get what else do I get there? Amaretto sours. I mean, I've gotten what's called the Godfather there, which was tasty. So really fantastic bar over at the Fontainebleau. And speaking of the Fontainebleau, my favorite hotel in Las Vegas is Fontainebleau. So the reason I say that is because I enjoy the vibes that I feel when I go to Fontainebleau. People always say it's empty. It's never empty when I go. I love just going there, seeing the people, and it's a different class of people. It's sort of like the Wynn and the Encore, where you're getting a different type of person. And usually it skews a little younger. Sometimes not my favorite outfits people are wearing, but it does sort of attract that sort of South Beach, it's really non-gaming vibe, but I enjoy that, and it's fun. And like it's okay. Like the casino's not going to close because, I mean, the casino might close if you don't have enough people, but I go enough to gamble for myself that it doesn't matter. It's fine. So I enjoy Fontainebleau. I think they're only going to get better. They're going to figure out what they're bad at, and they're going to figure out how to, expand their properties. So really enjoy Fontainebleau, probably my favorite property. Love the Wynn. Again, same thing, just the aesthetic of the property is so important. One of the hotels has kind of gone down in my power rankings is the Bellagio. Not so much because of the property itself, the way it looks and how pretty it is, but just that, it's become very commercial. It's been commercialized forever, but the type of people that go there are sort of very corporate, and it doesn't feel like it's really MGMified, which MGM is extremely sterile. Like, if it doesn't take chances, they're very safe. I work for a Marriott, and I will say this about MGM properties: they're very Marriottified. Which, funny thing is Marriott and MGM actually have a partnership, which is so funny. But like, the thing was with Marriott's, like, Marriott's are supposed to be cookie cutter and standard because that's what you're expecting. You're expecting to go to Rome, and even though you're in like this wonderful, crazy place, is that you want that sense of home, and I think that's what Marriott is supposed to do. When you come to Vegas, you want to be wowed. You want to have your socks knocked off when you go to Las Vegas, and I feel like we've kind of lost that edginess to at least the Strip. So I don't know. That's just sort of my little critique of the Bellagio. But I've kind of run through my list. So that's my list for Las Vegas. A couple other little notes and bobs is, if you guys do find me on social, feel free to just say, hey, I would love to talk about this. I would love to hear more of this type of content. Because I did find this year, it was harder to find unique things to highlight in the city, because I've done a lot of the stuff, but it feels like I do get a little bit repetitive sometimes, and I'm always trying to sort of search for something new, and that's sort of it's my job to do that. But it would help if you guys wanted to let me know what you wanted to hear, because that's what I really enjoy. I enjoy helping people experience Las Vegas and do Vegas the way that you want to do it, and I'm just here to assist with that. So again, reach out to me on any of my socials, Brian Ortega 26. I believe it's Brian_Ortega26 on Instagram, and then you can also find me on Concierge Confidential _LV on Instagram, and at TikTok at Keys to Vegas, or Twitter at Keys to Vegas. So again, thank you so much for listening, everybody. Really appreciate everybody's support, listening, downloading, all that good stuff. Hopefully we'll have more stuff to come in the next year. But again, this will be our last pod for this year. Hopefully you guys have a wonderful Christmas, a wonderful New Year's, and stay safe out there, guys. So again, if you see me out in town before, my next pod, or, when the next pod comes out, make sure you come up, say hello, and remember, keep it confidential.